Hello Virgo, this is Lauren from Etheric Tide. Got your January 2021 general love career reading. This is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. Check out your other signs because sometimes I find that my moon applies more than my sun sign does, depending. Oh, okay. And these are general in nature, so I mean, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And as always, don't give away your power. You can always make your own decision. Okay. He wanted to come out a few times actually, so I'll take it. Ooh, okay, so this is a lot of work on self. A lot of inner work on self coming up for you moving into 2021. Ourselves the Three of Pentacles, building the foundation and cooperation. Working, I'm going to say it's actually working with parts of yourself. The reason I'm bringing up that this is about healing is the star. And the star is like when we go within ourselves to find our own personal power. It's the Aquarius card as well. Aquarians are really incredibly independent. They're open-minded. They're a little bit strange in the way that they view the world and everyone in it. Some people refer to Aquarians as being aliens a little bit because they're just weird. But I think in this particular case, it's worth being a little weird. I think I'm being reminded of that idea that we have different aspects of ourselves. Like when we're approaching moving into the next phase of our lives, there's a past self, present self, and the person we actually would like to become. And it's almost as if there's yet fractured off parts of ourselves, which are all us, but different aspects of us. And they can have maybe opposing viewpoints. They could be having difficulty, so like just the Five of Cups there about grief and looking back at the past and being stuck within the past. And there could be aspects of ourselves that is still stuck in the past. And there could be aspects of ourselves that doesn't want to be stuck in the past. They want to heal. They want to move forward. They want to become the person that they were meant to. Rather than being, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that. Is there a part of you that is keeping yourself held back from your moving into your future self? Is there an aspect of your personality that is not wanting, is digging its heels in and is like, no, we're not moving forward. I want to stay here. I want to stay in the grief, in the pain, in the past. I want to stay here because it's safe, it's easy, it's what I know. It's almost like a almost like a little child having a little bit of a tantrum, like, no. And other aspects of yourself are like, no, we're not doing that anymore. I'm done with that. We're done thinking of that. We're done thinking of that way. We've spoken about this. We've had this conversation before. We're done. You know, like when, like, you kind of have conversations with yourself. And don't worry, like, having conversations with yourself is a really useful tool, and it's some people might say, like, oh, you're talking to yourself, that's a little bit strange. It isn't really. It's actually a pretty, like, unless you specifically have a disorder that causes that. I'm not talking about that at all. It's where we're trying to work something out in our head, and we've got different parts of ourselves that have opposing thoughts, but they both feel right. And because you've got two opposing thoughts that both feel right, you actually can't move forward. And you're kind of fighting with yourself. So this is where you need to have a stern, open, truthful conversation with different parts of yourself and go, hey, so ask yourself questions. Why are you still focusing on this, or what's keeping you from moving on to here or letting go? And you can speak from that aspect of yourself and go, okay, the reason I'm finding it difficult to let go of this is because this is all I've known, and the idea of moving on from this is actually terrifies me because I don't know what's going to come after this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to look after myself in this. And then the other aspect of you that is desperately wanting to move on could say, well, hey, I really want to move on and I'm really interested in healing, and what if I could be the person that can step in and look after you? Or maybe you can reason with yourself as to why that fear isn't founded in this situation, or there's no reason to be fearing. And then you can continue this conversation between you and yourself, going, what do you need to not be afraid? What do you need from me in order to not be afraid anymore? Like, what evidence, what information, what feeling, what answer? What do you need right now in order to let go of what you're being obsessed with right now? That's keeping us, all of us, from moving on. And intuitively, you should answer, and don't, like, if it's easier to write it down and write something down, write the answer, write a question, write the answer. I find speaking it to be better, just because it vocalizes what might be stuck inside yourself. And it's a way for an emotion to flow out of you rather than being stuck and stagnant. So, I'm gonna have a drink of water. There's an element of cleansing that's going to have to happen in January, and I mean, it's the perfect time for it. going into a new year and having to cleanse yourself of everything that isn't serving you. And this could be anything from the types of relationships, thought patterns, or food even. So completely just having yourself a cleanse. So drinking lots of water is going to really help you. Maybe reducing the amount of stimulants as well. When you are going through a big shift, like I'm going to say personality shift, but it's more like a fundamental aspect of who you are is going to be shifting, like belief systems. And sometimes that can have an effect on our personality. We're not always the same person that we were 5 years ago, and personalities can shift. Like we can go from being, I guess, somebody who, if people spoke about us, they might say, oh, they're really rigid and very like controlling with like how they do things, and have that kind of personality, diligent and what have you. And perhaps with time people could see us differently and go, oh well, they're really laid back, they're chill, they're relaxed, they're not they don't worry too much. They can have like a complete change in personality. And this is due to us realizing that elements or aspects of who we are causing us difficulties within ourselves and within relationships. And this is partly the conversation that we're having with parts of ourselves, that we're needing to go, hey, this isn't working for us anymore. This isn't working for me anymore. Who we are is keeping me from having a healthy relationship, or it's keeping me from holding down a job that I feel passionate about. It's making me feel isolated from my friends, and I don't like it anymore. So instead of deciding that the outside world needs to change, generally the change has to come from within. And a good way to say is, because I mean, us as people, we're not all good or all bad. Like it's kind of like we're just these whole people that have aspects to our personality that to one person it may be perfectly fine to be that way, and it creates no issues to have that aspect to their personality. They don't see how it affects them or hurts the people around them. And maybe it doesn't. But for you, that specific aspect of your personality, you might not like it anymore. And it doesn't mean that it makes you wrong. It doesn't mean that because there's this one aspect about you that you don't like anymore, that the whole of you is wrong. It just means that there's an aspect or a part of your personality that you're like, hey, you over there, I don't like that you're afraid of relationships or commitment. That's not working for me anymore. So why are you doing that? And then it can be like, oh, it's because of this. You're like, oh, okay, is that really realistic anymore? So that's the type of thing that you're going to be going through in the next month. A little bit strange. Good luck, Virgo. If you would like a personal reading, my details are down below. Go to www.etherictide.com. You can also go to my Facebook page and personal message me. If you like this reading, you can like, comment, or subscribe. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your Christmas and New Year's.